good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Futsal Philippines Show, the most exciting online show on the internet today, brought to you by the Henry V. Moran Foundation and Futsal Philippines. I am your host, Kevin Goko. I'm the head of the Philippine Football Federation Futsal Department, and I'm joined here by my really good friend, Roy Moore, the head coach of Payatas, and the proud coach, I would say, of Rookie of the Year, Regine Rabostura. So congratulations. I just wanted to say that off the top of the bat. It's great to have you on the show. And of course, I'm also joined this week by FIFA futsal expert Coach Vic Hermans, who's also the technical director of futsal for the PFF. So welcome, Coach Vic, to the show.
Welcome. Good evening, Coach Kevin and Roy. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone, and I hope everything is okay where you're at. It's not raining too hard, not yet at least. The winds are okay. Is the weather good?
Yeah, the sun is shining in Metro Manila.
Okay. And yourself, Roy?
Yeah, where we are, it's looking a little bit dark, but it's been a decent day. So hopefully the rains keep away. So we've got some good games tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. So the High Five Women's Futsal League will definitely push through with their games tomorrow. We made that call and we did the assessment, and we thought that there was really minimal risk for the players who are coming to the venue, and we wanted to get our final match day out of the way. But before we get to that, we weren't able to have our episode last week due to some, I would say, some technical difficulties on my end. But I won't elaborate on that. But we weren't able to do our show last week. So this week, before we get into what happened in match day 6, I wanted to recap a little bit of what happened from match day 4 coming into the last match day. So if we would look at where we left off from the last Futsal Philippines show, at the end of match day 4, wow, we had very, very close standings here. Tuloy and Payatas FC were tied on top with 9 points after 4 matches played. Azuri, University of Makati, GK Sipag, all tied on 7 points. Of course, Azuri leading the pack on 3rd place, followed by University of Makati and GK Sipag due to point differential. And then, of course, trailing right behind them by just 1 point is Tondo FC. So after match day 4, it was very, very competitive. We didn't really know how the table was going to shape out. And that brought us to match day 5. Or maybe we can show the results, share, of the match day 4. Do we have that? Okay. So anyways, from match day, from the results of match day 4, Tuloy and Payatas won their match day 5 games. So we're still tied on top of points at 12 points each. GK Sipag had a very, very tough game against Tondo, which was really a determining game to see who would really qualify for the top 4 slot. And Gawad Kalinga was able to edge out Tondo 2-1 in a very closely contested fight. Tuloy had a very tough game against Azuri, so Azuri gave their best, and Tuloy was able to edge out Azuri 5-4. And of course, in our last match of the day, we had Pangasinan eventually getting their first win, their first 3 points of the campaign with a 4-0 win. So at the end of match day 5, Tuloy and Payatas were still tied on top of the table. Of course, Tuloy being number 1 due to goal difference. And GK Sipag, who started the day in 5th place, jumped to 3rd by winning their game, their very crucial game against Tondo FC. Azuri and University Makati are still in play for the top 4. So is Tondo FC. So that really set up a very interesting match day 6 where many teams had to win in order to secure their spot in the top 4. So that leads us to match day 6. And our first match for the last match day is between Azuri and Tondo. So let's take a look at those highlights. Chair, do we have the highlights? Okay, brilliant.
Well, for me, lumabas yung kung ano yung pinractice namin ng Tuesday. And yung movement, yun nga lang syempre, these girls are still young. Yung finishing in front of the goal, tsaka how they come up with pressure like this na much older yung mga opponents sa kanila. Yun na lang yung kailangan namin i-build up for the next game to come.
Yeah.
So we still have one more game. Well, ganun pa rin, training pa rin Tuesday, tapos we'll try to do a little more of the finishing kasi ito yung nakita namin na kulang namin in this game. So hopefully after the training, mental toughness for the girls, saka kailangan yung attitude nila outside the field and inside the field, kailangan ma-improve pa rin. Well, we want these girls to learn how to play futsal properly kasi the way we see it is kapag naglalaro kami sa mga basketball court ng sa barangay, masyado lang confident yung mga players. Pero with this kind of tournament, with this kind of standard size futsal court, medyo nahihirapan sila and they need to adapt and adjust to the scenario na nilalaroan nila.
Masasabi ko lang po sa team namin na parang pinagtrabahuan talaga namin, work as a team, and yung passing and yung as a teammates, lumabas po talaga. I think we're still focusing pa rin sa passing and kung ano man yung mga kailangan pa namin i-workout as a team.
So with a big match there to determine who would really secure the top 4 slot, Azuri really shows their advantage in terms of experience versus what Dennis Balbin said is a very young but talented Tondo side. Roy, were you able to see this game and your thoughts and impressions on this?
Yeah, definitely. I've watched through all the games, and this was a really big one for both teams because you've got Tondo and Azuri, and whoever lost this game was out of contention for the top 4, essentially. So it was a big game for both of them. If we bring up picture 1, I want to highlight again how deep Tondo built up, and I think this was a massive difference that Azuri were able to press a bit higher than they normally do. They normally have a much deeper block, and because they were able to press a bit higher, they were able to catch out Tondo here. So in these kind of moments, in these kind of rotations and situations, because Tondo built up so deep, you see all 4 players in their own half so often. So the first goal, for example, comes from Uzuri kick in. It's snuck out wide to Lustan. If we go to picture 2, so the second picture shows it's a nice finish from Lustan, but Tondo have the players back to deal with this. So their offense has been a bit blunted because of how deep they're playing, but also on defense, they've got the players to deal with this. And it's a bit of inexperience, you might say. They're a young squad, so they're trying to deal with this. And so whenever she got a bit of space, Uzuri were able to create these chances for 2v1, 3v2. And I think that was the big difference in the game. They go up 2 goals to 2-0 pretty quick. But these are the kind of moments you expect them to be marking the player. Tondo did get a goal back. So again, like I've said every week pretty much, if you stop Lei, you stop Tondo. Lei dribbles past, I think it's 3 players, comes off the post, and one of their youngest players, I think she's 14 years old, Hisaler, she knocks it into the open goal. So they're fighting back. But if you go to picture 3, this is where they're fighting back, and this is where Tondo decide to have a higher press themselves. I know Coach Vic likes this as well. You want to see those girls on the front foot, and that's where when they started to play on like this, they created more chances. Of course, that leaves you open at the back as well. So Uzuri were able to press on the deep Tondo defense. They hit the post a couple of times. They have one-on-ones with the keeper. But when the 3rd and 4th goal goes in, it looks like it's over for them. If we go to picture 4, the next picture, I think Lei hadn't been subbed at this point yet, so she's played about 30 minutes straight through the game. So the next picture, so it's a very loose pass up. I'll double check. Maybe I've sent the wrong pictures there. Sorry. So it was a very loose pass from Lei that just allowed Uzuri to pounce on it and to finish there. And overall, it was just Uzuri were able to step up higher this time. Tondo kind of started to, but then they were just boxed in because they always start so deep from the back, and it gave them those chances. You got to say also Tondo had a penalty, although the foul was outside the box, so it shouldn't have been a penalty. It was really a free kick, but the refs gave a penalty there. They had a few chances to get a couple more goals, but Uzuri get to show that right now they're the better team and they're the ones who have the chance to progress to the semifinals.
Definitely showed their class, Roy. Thanks for that analysis. Vic, you were also there at the game. Your impressions on Tondo, because I noted that the coach, Dennis Balbin, said he wanted the girls to learn. But your impressions over on that game and Tondo overall.
Yes, correct. Now the big difference is what Roy told in the beginning from his analyzing. Also the ages and the experience. You saw the difference between both teams. Tondo is a team. It's coming, young girls, nice talents in the group. But on the end, they're losing also by an experienced team. I like it when the moment came that they start pressing. Yes. And you saw that was really good, and when they can play that whole game, but that's something for future. Then I will see. I don't know what's happened then, and the quality of Uzuri, and it was not only this week; it was also the week before. Also, when they played Tuloy in the second half, I think Uzuri will be also a team to watch it when they come in the half final. On the moment, what I have is that team is already. They have a lot of players, and maybe in my opinion it's too much players, but when you can play with a smaller squad, I think they will be stronger. But now after 3-4 games, they'll be stronger. The second half against Tuloy, also this second half, they play very well. But okay, that's for me the team to watch in the half final also, when they come in the half final, because still for tomorrow it's a big chance for other teams, or also for Uzuri when they play against Sipak tomorrow. You never know where it's go, but I think Uzuri is one of the teams for the final for sure. But Tondo, for me, it's impression. I like it. I like the young girls, and I hope that they grow and that we have in the future, more that we see more from them. And with Dennis and as coach, he likes the futsal. I know his passion is there. Okay, when they're learning, etc., a little more tactics and some powerful. Now you will see next year they will come, no problem.
Coach Vic, you mentioned that Azuri seems to start out slow in all
Yeah,
their games. Like why do you
yeah.
see like why do you think that's the case? And it's always like the case they go down big and they always try to make up for it at the end.
Yeah, maybe is that also something what Roy mentioned? When you start pressing from beginning of the game, you never know where it ends. When you're losing, they say, "Oh, they press too much." But now, when they're losing and they start pressing, they're coming closer. Dus I think maybe that you must looking if it is possible to start not the second half on that way, but the first half. And what I mentioned before, and that's not a comment. Look, Azuri has so many players, and when you have a tournament like this, and you must change every week some players, that's not easy. That's not easy for the rhythm of the girls. You know what I mean? When you play with the same players, maybe what Sipak play with the same team, the girls from Inspiraya, they know each other very well. And that's also for other teams, what I say, when you have too much players, sometimes it's difficult for the coach. And also when you must make decisions to say some girls, you don't play this game and you sit down. I don't know how it works, but for me, is it when you have 14 players for this 7, 8 games, it must be more than enough. And when you have some extra on the sheet, but I think that is also one of the problem. But now they solve and they come sometimes. The game when it's last Saturday when I saw when they're playing with I think Hannah, Christobas, Shada came too late Saturday. She was in traffic. She was not there. Nono is the girl what I saw there, and Luston Hazal. That four was on the pitch on that moment. It was very good for players, very good. Because that means when you have that squad already, I was be a coach maybe that you put them more in the field together. But I'm not the coach. I think the problem is also that I have a lot of players who want the coach want to play them all, and that's sometimes not possible. It's sometimes not possible. That can be a reason that they maybe. But the most I think in the second half, when you're losing and you say to your players, "Okay, you go for and you're gonna pressing." You saw what happens now, and I had the same feeling with Tondo. What Roy said was correct. When Tondo was more lucky in the finishing, they make also 2 or 3 goals for sure, but they were not lucky. And Diesel missed the penalty. Yeah, that was also one key point. But okay, it is a game. We will see. But on the end, my analysis, watch it. Azuri will come, in my opinion, a place for the half final for sure.
Okay. Well, we'll see, Vic. They have to actually win tomorrow to qualify, because if they don't win and University of Makati gets all 3 points, then Azuri doesn't qualify.
It's out. Yeah, it's out.
Yeah.
But sometimes you must say what you're thinking, what's gonna happen, and it happens tomorrow. Watch it.
Well,
Is that one worthy of a TikTok bet?
No, but that means that is will mug out, because I think when they're not winning tomorrow.
Yeah. So we'll see, Vic. I mean, must
will
win.
see.
It's a must win for Azuri tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we go to our next match, which was really, I think, one of the matches that we were all waiting for. Once we saw from the first 2 match days how strong the teams were, and these are probably the 2 most consistent teams during the league. So we had number 1 versus number 2. They were tied on points, and this is Tuloy FC versus Payatas in a big game to determine who would probably finish top on the table. Let's take a look at those highlights.
Yeah, overall, if you look at the context, I'm really proud of my girls. They worked really hard. They pushed really hard. We reset them every quarter so that it's a new game, and they kept fighting and kept fighting until they couldn't fight anymore. So I was really happy and proud of that. One of our best players was missing through suspension. 3 of them have small injuries or colds or something. So given everything that we've got with university tryouts, a lot of tired, there's a lot of niggly things going on, but they gave their absolute best. And as a coach, that's the best thing you can ask for, because over the long run, they will keep improving, and that will be the best result in the end, in the long run. Yeah, so next week's the last game of the league season. We have to win that to guarantee a top 4 spot. You've got so many teams fighting for those last 3 spots. I think Toloyo's sure now is number 1, and then everyone else has to win next week to have a chance. So you want to look at the standings, who will face in the semifinals and so on. And the good thing is everyone's starting to match each other. Everyone's starting to really level up. And that's really exciting because you don't know who's going to win in the semifinals anymore. At the start of the league, you thought, okay, these 2 are the best. They're way better than everyone. And now at the end of the league, you're looking at, hey, everyone's improved. Everyone's got better. And that's great. That's great for women's futsal. So it was the top 2 in the league today, but it might not be by the end of the season, given the rankings. I think what we see today is that everyone's beatable. Every team can be beaten with the right system, the right practice, the right training. And again, that's really good because you develop the players to play different systems. It would be too much for us to say that's definitely the final. Azuri, GK, UMAC are all fighting for those positions as well. And like we saw with UMAC and Toloy and Azuri fighting back, everyone can beat everyone on the day. So it's going to be an exciting semifinals.
Sa tingin ko ba, parang rawan po. Kasi wala pong ng stamina din po. And then, parang po, easy po. Communication na din kasi kanina parang na po. Parang gaway-away na din po.
Actually, nag-struggle po kami. Pero we did our best from the start until the final whistle. So the result is we win. For me, we have a chance, but we are not good enough. But we have chance to make it through to the playoffs. I think kailangan po namin mag-improve sa lalong-lalo na po sa akin how I manage the team, and then how I make the subs, because I struggle also there. And then wala namang problema sa girls because they are doing their best in every game.
So, Tuloy, congratulations to Tuloy for winning that match. It was actually a lot closer than what the highlight showed, with probably, I think, at the end, quite controversial play. Like, I don't know, Roy, if we can pull that up and maybe ask the viewers what happened, because there was a cries for penalty there, and then there was a no call, and it could have probably. Probably, I wouldn't say it would definitely probably could have affected maybe the final score. Roy, you have that video. I want to ask the viewers if they have an opinion of that, or.
All right, sure. I'll try and bring it up because yeah, it's a really good example of one of those kind of controversial calls that really could go either way. Let me see if this works. So it's presenting the videos there in the background, so that should come up. But first of all, what I want to say is overall, I think here we are. If we can skip to where is it? 741. Lovely. 741. Wow, this is new technology for me. I gotta say, I'm learning as I'm going. This is great. So this is where we win the ball and we have a nice counter attack. It's the next highlight. Here we are. Yeah, so I mean, for us, obviously, it looks like a dead certain penalty if we show again from here. What we see is I got drives forward. There's a challenge for the ball, and then the Toloi girls hooked her leg and brought her down and tripped her. It's like, yes, there's contact, and yes, there's legal contact, and so on between different players, and then she's tripped her. So it's a difficult one at the end of the game because you don't want to complain about the refereeing too much. There were some things we were very unhappy about throughout the game with simple things like goal clearances, simple things like where they were holding on to the players. But before we go into maybe that one, let me reiterate that I think Toloi overall were the better team and they deserved the win. So I'm not trying to say like this definitely would have changed the result or anything, but it's something that going into the semi-finals and the finals, and especially with the men's league as well, which is going to be faster and even more competitive, it's something we've got to have a look at and try to improve on that. But I do know that Coach Vic has a different opinion to myself, so I'd love to hear from Coach Vic, as you're someone far more experienced than myself in the international scene. To you, why do you think the referees got this right?
For me,
Yeah.
For me, I have many games I saw like that, and I'll be honest, from my side, where I was sitting on the other side, it was also that the ball goes between, and for me, it was not a penalty. And I see all the 4 games every time when I be in the Philippines. And last time I was 1 week out, but when I see all the 4 games, I be honest, I'm thinking the referee's doing very well. But what you said, maybe when the men's league is coming up, maybe that it will be faster. But till now, I be honestly, I see not one referee who's thinking. Before the game was starting, I sit on the other side. Your team was a line up with the referees, and it was for me already surprising that the referee was talking so much to 1 or 2 girls from your team. That was for me. So I was sitting 2 meters behind, but okay, I have it in international games also. And Ray's our referee here. I tell him he knows exactly that when I had a fight with him in Bangkok, very fight about that, very high tension. Now we're working together, and I'm learning also. Look, when you have these situations, I say to all the coaches, when you don't whistle for penalty, concentrate directly on the other moments what you have. You will never win this from a referee. And also when you start complaining every week, for sure referees recognize your face, and next time they never be in favorite for you. This is only one moment. And I said also your best player on that day, the best player from the pitch, Danton was the best player for the whole game from 2 sides. She was fighting for every meter. I saw her fighting, and sometimes I think, ooh, that is maybe a foul, and also that foul was not in. This for me was not so clear. But and also on the movie what you saw, I looked at this week also a couple of times. I cannot find. It looks also as she stepped over the ball. It's looked like the ball is bigger. But okay, maybe you have a bigger computer than me. I don't know. But I say concentrate tomorrow on the next game. Forget this. And I be honest to my referees. It's not my referees. What I say now to my referees. I think they do a great job. Also, when I see a girl, last week was there, perfect. Let's go on with this. And of course, when we have complaining about that, it's possible to do this. But let me inform after the league a pool what we're thinking, what we can do better, and what are the arguments. Not only from you, Roy, from everyone. For everyone. Yeah, but we want to make it better. And with the referees and the coaches and our girls, that's our target to set up the league, of course. But I like the game, and I be honest, Toloi was not the better team. I be honest. It was when you had your number 8, Althea, what's her name, Rabuza. When she was in, I said directly when she was there, Toloi was not winning that game, in my opinion. And you was some unlucky, of course. But you had only 1 Danton, and that was not enough. Yeah. I mean,
it's
I'll
true.
be honest. I'll be honest. Okay. I like the game, of course, as neutral man, sitting there and looking to the and also the substitutes. You have maybe not so much substitute as Toloi, but what the coach said from Toloi, you saw also his interview. is also something about the substitute. And okay, he must also learn some things. But okay, that's it. That's a job, huh?
Coach
Neutral
Vic,
for me. I like the game. Yes.
Coach, we have a question for you. What do you think Tuloy has to improve on? I mean, they're winning their games. They have a very big goal difference, but there's areas of improvement. Like, what do you
Yeah.
think that you need to improve
Yeah,
on?
I had it already after the game against Azzurri. When the game against Azzurri was 5 minutes longer, for sure Azzurri was winning because they have on the flow the second half. They make 4 goals, came back from 5-0, and when 5 minutes, there was no control anymore. The problem is also when you see what I said with Azzurri is by Tuloy on this moment. They have not the same 4 players on the pitch. They're changing too much. They don't know exactly which player with which player must play, and that's something what they must solve that problem. But I think that's the problem for them. The quality individual from Tuloy is very good. That's no problem. But it is on the moment not the team that I expecting from last year. But okay, we will see tomorrow. Maybe this week's had a pep talk from the coach or maybe from Father Rocky. I don't know, but you never know. But tomorrow they have Dr. G. There's normally it's that not the problem. That's not the case. In that games you can use younger players and new players. In my opinion, that's a game you are qualified already. You know tomorrow after the first 2 games is Azzurri winning, who I got in the half final. It's also tactics, of course, but you never know. But also they must improve for sure. And what I said before, on the moment I have the best feeling for Azzurri. I have that feeling. But okay, we will see tomorrow. For Azzurri then. For Tuloy is another problem. And I think for Roy is also another problem.
Well, that's a problem for Gawad Kalinga tomorrow. So speaking of Gawad
Yeah.
Kalinga, we go to our
Yeah.
next one. And our third match of match day 6 involves Dr. J, who still haven't won, but they're definitely improving week in and week out, facing against GK, who's also in a must-win situation to guarantee themselves in the Final Four. Let's take a look at those highlights.
I think that we did really good in terms of not enough practice this week since we had a lot of schedules. But I think that even though we didn't have enough training, we didn't have enough warm ups or anything, we still did good. And the lineup was a little short. We were lacking some players, but we still did good. We still fought until the end. What the team could improve is more on stamina. I feel like there are times when we get tired, so they don't go down, and I think that we really need to work on that. We also need to work on finishing. Yes.
Yeah, I'm happy, but I think we can do more better than that. And it's really even if we don't have like number of good trainings this week because there are a lot of tryouts for them, but still they perform very well and they did their best to win that game. I think right now we don't feel it yet because we were focusing in one game at a time. But maybe this week we will really prepare well and we really trying to. That's why we're here. We're really trying to perform every week, each week being better as a player, as a person, and at the very first day, I never doubted these girls that they can do that. So I think they can do it, and just the proper training this week, and I think we can have a chance. Yeah, they say bilog ang bola. I think we can.
So congratulations to Gawad Kalinga with that win. They basically secure a top four slot together with Payatas and Tuloy sa Don Bosco heading into next week. It's just really a question of where these teams would stand on the table at the end of tomorrow's games. So, Dr. J, I was expecting a little bit more from him, but Roy, your thoughts on that match?
Yeah, they've been improving a little bit, and then all of a sudden it's back to the big scores again. So I know what you mean about that one. If we go to picture 5, um, there's a lot of little things that come out in the futsal play that GK just have so much more training together. They're clearly fitter, they're faster, they're sharper. They're a good 2 levels above where Dr. J's at right now. So what we see here is a good example of that. You've got Ella Lazo on the near side here. She's circled. She's played a 1-2 in the middle. She's got the pace to beat her defender, who's watching the ball instead of watching the man. And you saw a lot of this throughout the game. But it's also the little things from the rest of the team. I think it's Estembre up front as the pivot there. She's pulled the defender away with that run. And that's what creates the space for Lazo to run into. And then when she gets the pass, it's a 1v1. So GK were fitter. They were smarter. They finished very well. And they drove into that 5-0 lead. Dr. J pulled one back. It was a very nice goal. 1-2 around the GK defenders. And so that's something to be pleased with. If we go to picture 6. On the picture 6, this is at 5-1. I think Dadai, it is. It's taken a long shot. It's palmed away. And you see the Dr. J defenders, they're again ball watching. And instead of marking their players, they're not fighting as much as they can with the player. They are making it as hard as possible. So it's Ella Malatbat who steals in, and she heads over the goalkeeper in circled there in another of my beautifully designed graphics. I understand that these can improve a bit more. But it was a common thing for Dr. J, and so that's it for the pictures I wanted to show. GK get another 5 goals after this. It's nice passing. They've always got that player on the second post who's free for the tap in at the back post, that second post in futsal. For Dr. J, I think you've got to say this whole season is a learning experience for them. It's about developing. They're clearly not on the same level as the top teams in this league. And next week they face Tuloy, which is going to be a massive, massive test for them. So that's going to be really tough. I think if they can hold it to single figures, honestly, that would be an improvement on the weeks that we've seen so far. Getting a little bit ahead of myself, I think this is a great example where a second division would be absolutely amazing. You can have teams like this, you can have the B teams of teams like Payatas and Tuloy and GK, of where the bigger squads like Azuri that Coach Vic talked about having such big squads as well. And they can have that real development league in place and help that. And as you say, for GK, they'll either face Payatas or Tuloy now in the semi-finals. So it might be a rematch, Kev, and the bet's back on.
Yeah, we're back on, man. Definitely, if we get matched up. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Thanks, Coach Roy. Coach Vic, like Dr. J, I mean, they have showed a lot of positive things in this league. Is there anything, Coach Vic, that comes out with you positively
No.
from Dr. J's performance?
Now, what Roy said is true, of course. There's a lot of tactics there. And also, I know Coach Jen in the beginning, she had not so much players to start. That was also 2 months ago when you have 4 or 5 girls and you must bring a team in the league. Later on, it's not so easy. They're looking better. Also in this game, the 11 goals again, but they look for me better than in the beginning. Only the score was high. And then when we go to the other team, that looks for me, and we have the Inspire Raya girls playing there, and that is for me the youth national team. Why? They're working under the national team. They're in Calamba. They train 6 times a week, and you find the benefit back. What Roy said, they know exactly where to walk, etc. And also they must learning later on when they come to the adult competition a little more. But you see already that they play futsal. And I'm very happy with that. And also, for the future, the girls, they go now separate. Some go to another school, but we have got 8 new ones for the next coming year with the other 6 who stay there. Because we have still a nice team there. And in AFC, we have under 17, under 19 football. You never know when we have in the future under 17 futsal. You have always a team to compete. And I said, for what I mean, it looks for me like a young national team already. And I'm very happy with that, with the performance, what they're doing. And I hope, of course, tomorrow that they can play in a very good game. And that's all what I wish the girls, because, I know them very well, of course. But it was nice, and also how they make the goals, patient in front, and looking to the second post. And they're looking like a complete team. That's no problem. And also, when you see in the back, when you see Frandel playing there as number 3, very strong, very strong. When she come up, I saw in the highlights, you see 2-3 goals coming from her through the middle. She knows to pass, and that's what we need, of course. Yeah. But okay, we will see it tomorrow. But for Dr. G, I'm still, what I said last week, also very happy that they joined this league. Also, when they're losing, still the energy is there. I spoke with them after the game when they took pictures, and one of the girls said a couple of meters away from me, we still have fun, coach, losing 11, but we still make pictures together. Yes, that is also important when you have still that energy. Because I'm happy that they have that energy and they are looking like that. And tomorrow we will see with Tuloy. I don't think that Tuloy can make this score what Sipak score. I don't think so, but you never know. We will see. I hope for Dr. G for tomorrow also a good game.
Yeah, definitely, Coach Vic. And for those teams that are not out of who didn't qualify for the Final Four, there is still a bracket for them. And this is still a very good opportunity to be scouted by you. There's still more games and also opportunity for them to improve. But in terms of GK, let's see. I think tomorrow will be the big test because they're playing against a very experienced and, as you said, deep Azuri squad. You saw what Azuri could do to a good team like Tondo in the previous week. So let's see what these girls from Inspire Raya and GK are made out of tomorrow. So that brings us to our final match of match day 6. This is another big one because it's a must-win for the University of Makati to qualify for the top 4. And they're facing off against a Pangasinan United team that is really trending upwards and improving a lot. So let's take a look at the match highlights.
Sa team performance namin, okay naman po siya and nagawa namin yung second half na gusto namin gawin. So siguro may part lang na kinulang and hindi rin sinerte pero still happy kami sa result kasi ang gusto sana namin win sana yon kaso hindi kinaya pero the team do their job. So doon pa lang happy na kami. And syempre yung na-win namin yung audience support sobrang laki ng experience or talagang na-i-boost yung paglalaro ng mga bata. And nakita rin namin yan kasi previously, last week lang, dumaan sa R1A, tinignan ko yung mga kasamaan dun sa lineup namin, and which is napakalaking bagay sa kanila para at nakatulong sa mga kanya-kanya nilang team sa amin, sa province namin. So, sa next level siguro, hanggat kaya pa namin, sasali at sasali pa rin kami para sa kanila, sa mga pangarap din po nila.
Binigay naman po namin yung best namin. So, yun nga. Mas gagalingan pa namin sa susunod na game para mabigay namin yung magandang performance para sa team. Sipagan lang po namin. Sipagan.
They did their best naman po all throughout the game. And wala naman po akong binablame at all sa team namin kasi nakita ko naman po sa kanila na hindi po sila napagod sa pagkuha ng bola and all. And nakikinig po sila sa mga command ko as a goalkeeper in the team. And I know na nagtiwala sila sa isa't isa and yeah, we did an amazing performance pa rin despite of the result. Yeah. Still we should do attend the trainings and apply the lahat ng drills na tinuturo ng coaches namin. And yun lang po, application po talaga ng mga tinuturo ng coaches namin. Because some of the trainings and mga advices ng coaches hindi po masyado na-apply. And yun dapat po yung gawin ng team namin, application, especially the defense.
Today, I think they made better plays today kasi compared to the past 2 games before this, we lost the 2 games and mas matagal silang uminit nung past few games. But compared to now, they played a better game. Our main target is for them to gain more knowledge regarding their team, to have more bond as a team. Tapos, I want them to learn how to communicate. As I said before, they still lack in communication.
Roy, that was a good result for Pangasinan, but I think it was a blow for University of Makati, especially being up 3-0. You would expect them to kill it off. Your analysis from that?
Yeah, for sure. UMac are going to look at this as 2 points dropped, for sure. Where on the flip side, Pangasinan hadn't scored. I think they couldn't score in 2 of the first 3 games, and now they've got 3 or 4 in every game since. So, as you said at the beginning, they've been improving. If we go to picture 12, I think it's Alcantara here. She adds to her tally. She's in a decent position. But what I want to highlight is very early on is the players from Pangasinan, they have the numbers back, but they're just in the wrong position each time. They have the players that should be marking the UMac forwards. And this is a consistent problem that it's a little bit like we discussed with Tondo last time round. It's maybe they're a bit inexperienced and they're not looking over their shoulder enough, but they're too far away from the players that they should be marking, and it makes it easy to go through. So I think they were down 4-0 in the previous game against Azuri, and then in this game they go 3-0 down, and it's this kind of thing at the beginning of the game. They're just not switched on and alive to those passes coming through and to the space. And UMAC in the first half especially exploited that nicely. In picture 13, I think we see the best and worst of UMAC here is that they on the ball they can sometimes look quite good. They can sometimes look, they played it well around all the time. But what we see here is that the two wingers, the two circled players, they're so far from the play that when Pangasinan win the ball here, it becomes a 2v1 straight away on transition because of how wide those two wingers are. So they were trying to get forward and create those chances, but then it left themselves open at the back. And so while they went 3-0 up, it meant that Pangasinan always felt like they had a chance to get back into it because they always had chances on goals. There were some very good saves from both goalkeepers throughout. And so, yeah, like when UMAC conceded the second goal and it was 3-2, of course, Pangasinan's thinking, well, hey, we've got a chance here. And they start to press high. On picture 14, you see here is where they win the ball up. And the good thing is that when they're pressing this high, they're also immediately into a 2v1. It's that player on the left wing. She wins the ball straight away. The defender is dragged across because now she has to block that. And that leaves, I think it's Corpus at the back post. She's free to receive and score. It's a good finish from her. She's a very quick winger. So she's one to look out for in the next games as well. Both wingers are very quick. And it meant that they always had chances against Deloy or GK or hopefully Payatas tomorrow. You want to see them, they'll get picked apart if they're trying to press in this kind of way. But, you know, you're down on 1 goal in the last 5 minutes. You've got to go for that. It's a risk worth taking against the tired UMAC, at this point, their second team. So UMAC had plenty of chances to win it, but then Pangasinan had an open goal at the end. They passed it across to the back post and they just missed. It was like 3-4 yards out. They could have stole it right at the end. So it was one of those games that could have gone either way. UMAC will definitely see it as 2 points dropped. And now they have to hope GK beat Azuri, and then they also need to beat Tondo in the first game tomorrow in order to advance. So it's a big day for them tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely, Roy. Thanks for that. A big day for everyone. Maybe I think the only team who can relax a little bit, if there is such a thing, is Tuloy.
Yeah.
Coach Vic, being up 3-0, what changed for University of Makati or Pangasinan?
Yeah, that shows again that in futsal, the results, also when you're leading 5-0 like Tuloy against Azuri or like this, and you got the first goal, what Pangasinan get in this game was a lucky goal because the goalkeeper, it was a shot on goal and she handled not the ball, fell down, and that was 3-1. And the believing starts then in the team. And then they start, what Roy said, also pressing, running. Then sometimes you need some luck. But on the end, what he said, yeah, I was also sitting on my chair and I think they go win with 4-3. That was an open chance in the last second, but it did end it. But totally, the team from Floyd improved a lot in this competition. When you were losing in the beginning and you have 0 pounds and then you have 1 pound and then you have 4 pounds and then you play this game again, there's so much energy. I hope that they can do that also from the beginning again. But again, totally, it's futsal is for me. Don't think that you're winning when you're leading 3-0, when you don't be so sharp as in the beginning. But what Roy said, Womack in the beginning, they start pressing, they have chance, but on the end, you find out back what they start in the beginning. Because I'm say also here what the last words what you said from Womack and Azuri tomorrow. I don't know also what the coach wants. On the coach from both teams, I don't know what the coach wants. Womack or Azuri, I don't know what he wants. Because we will see tomorrow what the first 2 games what happens, and then we know exactly what's going on. But for me, the team from Floyd was also very nice this competition till so far, and he improved a lot with his team. Yeah, but don't think by 3-0 you win the game so easily. You see what can happen. Don't lose your control.
Thanks, Coach Vic. And mentioned Corpus there, Roy. She has a lot of energy. She's actually one of the girls who's coming all the way from Ilocos Norte to play here every weekend. So Vic,
Yeah.
just a geography lesson on the Philippines. Ilocos Norte is the furthest. It's the northernmost part, of Philippines, and I think also had a factor to play with maybe their performances early on. They're not used to it, but definitely I think they pretty much have a hang of how to manage their energy and the trip down over to
Yeah.
Manila.
Yeah.
So so that's a wrap for match day 6. No, before we look at the summary of results and the standings, let's take a look at our candidates first for the Amici's Gusto Goal of the Week. So, ladies and gentlemen, every week we put out there, we select, actually the staff here select the top goals, the top 5 goals for the week. And you, the viewers, can get to vote on that on social media. And the winner of every week will receive a gift certificate from Amici's for the Amici Gusto Goal of the Week. So let's take a look at the candidates for this. So those are our candidates for last week's Amici's Gusto Goal of the Week. We will post a link of that so you guys can vote and select which one was the winner of that week. At the same time, we'd also like to show the previous winners for the Karamia Girl of the Game. So if you don't understand what this is, every match, the coach of the winning team, or if it's a draw, the match official will select who is the Karamia Girl of the Game for each match. So let's take a look for our winners from last match day. So congratulations to the 4 winners of Match Day 6 Karamia Girl of the Game. And now we'll take a look at the summary of results for Match Day 6. Just to recap, in the first game of the match day, in what was a matchup to really determine who would qualify for the Final Four. Azuri beat Tondo 6-1. In the battle for the top spot, Tuloy edged out Payatas 4-2 in what was a close match. In the third game, GK Sipag showed their superiority in class over Dr. J, beating them 11-1. Then, of course, in a very big match for the University of Makati in terms of their Final Four hopes, they drew 3-3 against Pangasinan United, a surging Pangasinan United who has been improving week in and week out. So after those results, the match day standings or the league table heading into tomorrow looks like this. Tuloy is number 1 on 15 points. They've qualified for the Final Four. It's not sure if they finish top. GK Sipag follows with second place with 13 points, and they have a big match against Azuri. Azuri will be hoping to win to secure their place in the Final Four. Payatas will also be looking to winning their game to improve or solidify their placing to either become number 2 or number 3. And then, of course, University of Makati also has a chance to qualify if they win and Azuri loses tomorrow. The table runs up with Tondo FC with 6 points, Pangasinan United with 5, and Dr. J Autoclav. We'd like to remind our viewers that the top 4 and the bottom 4 will still have their own bracket. So they will still be playing matchups in their own playoff round. And that's a way for them to continue to play more futsal games and to improve. And of course, to be scouted or potentially being selected for the national team in our friendlies later this year. So moving into match day 7, these are our matchups for tomorrow. And these games will be played early in the morning, given that the forecast is the rains will be heavy tomorrow afternoon. Our first matchup is between Tondo versus University of Makati. This is really a big match for the UMAC. It's a must-win for them to be able to qualify for the Final Four and hoping that their sister club does them a favor. So in the second match, you have GK Sipag versus Azuri. This is really a match to determine whether Azuri would make the Final Four and if GK Sipag can secure their spot in second or third place. Then in the third match, you have Dr. J versus Tuloy FC. We're hoping that Dr. J would finish and have a good showing here against Tuloy. Tuloy also must win to guarantee themselves a top spot. It's not yet assured because other clubs can catch them. Mathematically, Payatas and GK can still overtake Tuloy on top of the table. And of course, the final match of the morning, I wouldn't say match of the day, but final match of the morning is Payatas versus Pangasinan United. I think this would be a good match because you have Payatas looking to solidify their position and Pangasinan United also trying to show everyone how far they've come and how much they've improved. Final thoughts, gentlemen, on these matches for tomorrow, Roy?
Yeah, there's a couple of great games that stand out there. I think the UMAC Tondo game and then the Azuri GK one for sure. And that's the one really I think to watch tomorrow because those two decide the placings for the top 4, of course, but also in terms of how the intensity you expect for both of those games. So yeah, they should be great to watch.
Thanks, Roy.
Yeah.
Vic?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to GK Azuri. I want to see how the young girls looking to the more experienced girls from Azuri. That's for me the game from tomorrow. And the other one, yeah, on the end we will see what Roy said. The afternoon you can see what happens in the morning. But for a neutral guy to look, I want to see how the young girls play with Azuri. That's for me the most interesting game tomorrow.
Yeah, and I'm interested, Coach Vic, to see if I'll have a rematch with Roy for another TikTok bet. No, so
revenge.
Revenge. All right, so I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I hope the weather will really cooperate, but it looks like it will in the morning. So we hope that everything pans out as forecasted. So we will take a commercial break, but don't leave yet because the second portion of our show is we have a special guest here, and he's one of the coaches of one of the really the more impressive sides, very young side in the High Five Women's Football League, and that's Tondo FC. So please don't go away. We'll just have a quick commercial break. it's my pleasure to introduce our next special guest on the show. He's somebody who's no stranger to Futsal Philippines. Over the pandemic, he was very active with the freestyle football championship. So we'd like to welcome again to those viewers who are familiar with him, to those who are not. Dennis Balbin is the coach of Tondo FC, hardcore freestyle, futsal, football, futkal advocate. Maraming salamat, Coach Dennis, and welcome to the show.
Hi, good evening to everyone. Grabe yung introduction.
Coach Dennis, kamusta naman, no? I know you very well, no? I know your story, but maybe for those who are not familiar, can you mention what it's like? Like, how did you start in football, no? Growing up in Tondo, and how is the culture there, basically? No?
Yeah, for all the viewers, nag-start ako ng football when I was young, mga siguro 4 or 5 years old, dito sa Don Bosco, Tondo. And katulad ng ibang football culture, we started in a big football field sa 11-a-side when we were young. And yung mga Salesian priests sila yung nag-initiate, my father and some other volunteer coaches that time. And then growing up, syempre, nasanay ako maglaro with the kids dito sa Don Bosco, Tondo. And through time, siguro by the time na 2008, 2009, there was the organization called Football Sakali. And ito yung nagbukas sa amin ng iba pang opportunity when it comes to football. And not only that, because of our knowledge sa futkal, nadagdagan yung skills namin and we were able to, ako personally, nakuha ko yung scholarship program from PWU, Philippine Women's University. And I'm not playing football doon sa PWU. I was playing futsal that time. So fast forward, mas na-inlove ako doon sa sa futsal program, sa futsal sport kaysa doon sa football. And na-realize ko na while playing futsal during the college days, nagko-cross training sa football talaga, nag-cross training sometimes naglalaro ako ng football, sometimes after training namin sa PWU, nag-freestyle football din ako. So I realized na napakalaki ng improvement ko when it comes to touches, to passing, vision, and other aspects sa football.
Thanks, Dennis. No, regarding you said you played football, tapos futsal, and then freestyle. What's your opinion on playing the many forms? Because some coaches discourage it. No, some football coaches and football coaches I respect say that if you're playing football, you shouldn't play futsal. Although I personally disagree with that point of view. But what's your view of that? Because some coaches also say that football freestyle doesn't help you at all as a player because you're just focused on the ball, diba? So maybe for those viewers out there, do you think first of all there's a benefit in playing all these different forms at the same time, or dapat hiwalay sila as what some coaches and some respectful coaches also think?
Yeah, for me, it all boils down with controlling the ball. So the more touches you have with the ball, the better. And siguro tactically, hindi ka matututong mag-football when you're doing freestyle football. Pero yung confidence mo whenever you have the ball, it will boost you pagka naglalaro ka ng street soccer, ng futsal, ng freestyle football, and then it will benefit you also. For me, it benefits me kasi yung touch ko sa bola, close control na, and kahit na malakas or strong pass yung ginagawa sa akin ng mga teammates ko, I can control it properly. Sometimes may mga ganong aspects. So for me, bakit in other countries naman, like Ronaldinho, Robinho, they all started playing street soccer, and pagdating nila sa 11-a-side football, they're all creative players. So kung ano man yung nagagawa nila individually when they're playing street soccer, sometimes nagkakaroon sila ng opportunity to do it in a professional match on a 11-a-side football. So for me, I don't discourage other players to do street soccer or freestyle football. I encourage them to do it para at least yung confidence nila, yung creativity nila, ma-enhance nila pagdating sa football.
And coming to Tondo, Coach Dennis, can you please tell us about the situation in Tondo? Anong situation na doon sa Tondo na iba naman sa ibang mga komunidad? So, how did you start coaching with Tondo from playing? And what's your situation now?
How did I start? Maybe I started when I was in high school kasi parang bata pa lang ako, trip ko nang magturo ng kung anong nalalaman ko sa football So, ganun. Pero yung Tondo FC kasi, we started it in 2011. So, yung youth development program, 4 kami nag-invento ng programa na yon. And then, dumami na yung mga player na naglalaro. Pero before our program, before Tondo FC, there was the Don Bosco Tondo who started the culture, the fire dito kung paano nag-isimula yung mga lola, yung mga lolo tsaka yung mga senior players namin. 1970s pa lang, 1980s, malalim na yung kultura ng football dito. Pero nung dumating yung footcal, yung street football, sinimulan na namin yung futsal. Yung pagpa-practice ng mga players sa mga basketball courts, 2011, 2012, yan. Diyan na nag-start yung, minsan, during that time, hindi pa gusto ng community. So, sinasabi pa ng mga barangay courts, yung mga tao sa barangay courts, they're excited to play basketball. Tinatanong nila kami, bakit dito kayo naglalaro ng football sa basketball court? Tapos we have like 20 players out there. Hindi pa nila tanggap. And then, through time, siguro after 2 years, 3 years, nakita na nila yung benefit na we're not only doing it for ourselves. We're doing for the whole community. So, isang barangay, na-accept na nila kung ano yung ginagawa namin. And then ngayon, we're trying to figure out na collaborate with other barangays also.
I have a question for both of you, in fact, because you've been able to develop a good culture in Payatas. Definitely one also in Tondo. For those viewers out there, and maybe those who will eventually watch this, what do you think needs to be done to promote Philippine football and futsal? When I say Philippine football, it's football in all its forms. What needs to be done from your experience to be able? Because I think the problem right now with our top of the pyramid, or let's say the top, is that we don't have enough fans, we don't have enough followers yet. So from your experience, because you're able to do that in your community, how do we convert or make Filipinos fall in love with football?
For me, I have 3 E's for that situation. So yung 3 E's na yun is encourage, enlighten, and engage muna. Engage, encourage, and enlighten them. So, with what I saw dito sa community namin, training muna yung mga bata. And then, in 2019, that was the most excellent program that we had. Nag-conduct kami ng league sa barangay court. And then I saw the engagement ng mga tao, yung mga parents, yung mga kaibigan ng mga players namin. They're all watching, they're all celebrating the goals of our players. And then afterwards, magkikwento yung mga bata, yung mga players namin na dumami yung fans sila dun sa barangay, nakikilala sila. So we're creating idols in our community. Tapos, after that league, nakita mo yung ibang bata na who's only watching them play. Nag-participate na dun sa training ng mga players namin. And then for me, yung triangle, yung pyramid, we need to start at the bottom talaga. So if you're dreaming about having idol players dun sa taas ng pyramid, we should create them more on the ground level muna.
Great. Engage, encourage, and enlighten. 3 E's ni Coach Dennis Balbin. Coach Roy, I mean, I'm sorry, like not to make you the guest, pero there's a lot of similarities between like what both of you do.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Payatas and Tondo, we've played each other for the last 12 years, I think. We've been not so much fighting with each other, but we've been challenging each other, and that's been really, really good to see both teams progress in that time. In terms of developing Philippine football, I'll say it every single time: get futsal courts everywhere you can. With what Kuya Dennis was saying, Coach Dennis was saying earlier about Ronaldinho, Robinho, you look at the Ronaldos, you look at all the different creative players that have come through, particularly South America, but now more and more Europe. It's always small-sided games that they start with. And you only need to transition when you're like 15, 16 years old towards 11-a-side. If you want to build football in a culture, in a country where it's not here, just take the example of Japan or Australia or the USA and what they've done. They got millions of kids playing. That was their first priority for the first 20, 30 years of their program, was just getting kids playing. And it's our communities where that happens. It's Tondo, it's Payatas, it's GK, it's Western Bikutan, it's Dream Big, it's all these different communities, Toloy. It's these communities where they come up. And as Coach Dennis said, you get all of these people watching their communities, watching their teams, because they care about the players. Honestly, who cares about some player from the third division in Spain coming across for a game in the SEA Games where they lose to Timor-Leste? No one cares about that. No one cares about like these players. They don't know them. And so instead of spending the money on the flights for that, invest in the futsal courts, invest in these communities, and you build that pyramid slowly, because now you get the people watching because they care about the people. They care about the community where the games are. And then they become the market. They become the fans who then drive everything forward. And 10, 20, 30, 40 years down the line, now you can start talking about players from the USA. Now the men's team starting to get good. Now Japan's men's team are good. Now Australia's men's team are starting, they had a bit of a revival. But what you notice in each of those cases is their women's team is excellent. All four of those cases, football is not the number one sport, but their women's teams are the top in the world. That's where we start, is getting millions of girls playing. Because if you want a 1 in a million talent, you need 1 million kids playing.
Definitely. I think the common thing between, what you shared was engagement, no? And
Yeah.
and I think the argument is that futsal is an excellent way to engage the kids. Speaking of Tondo and Payatas, I want to share something. Let me see. Window here. This was, I saw this on social media, and I want you guys to comment on this. No, this, yeah. Just for the viewers who don't know, like, who are these players in the UAAP, and why are they the test case of what you guys just said? Engage people, build futsal courts, or build small places where kids can build small-sided games.
Coach Dennis, please go ahead first. Tell us about the graduates that you guys have coming through at Tondo.
Etong number 19, that is Maya Mendaño. So, sobrang challenging ng player na to. Kasi growing up, this girl nakikipaglaro sa mga boys at her age. So, ayun, ganun. Nag-start siya in Barangay 118. So, we're very proud of what she has achieved. And ganun din. We want these girls, we want these players to grow as a role model so that the community will grow also. So maraming bata, marami ng players kapag ka nagtitraining siya with us sa barangay court, and then some other little kids, little girls are out there, pinapanood siya maglaro, and that's engagement already. So these girls are becoming role models. Katulad ng ginawa namin dito sa High Five Futsal League, yung girls that I invited to play are our players in around 2015, 2016. So they're still young. But then yung mga bata na sumunod sa kanila, they are now inspired to continue playing futsal, to continue playing for Tondo FC. And ganito yung nangyayari kay Mai ngayon. So she was a great role model now na she's studying in LaSalle, and she was able to make it in the national team and contributed an assist for, I think, the captain, Tanay Anis. So she was able to do the cross, and Tanay Anis made the header for the goal. So yun, and she is one of the proof na small-sided games, futsal, street soccer, and also Maya can also do a lot of freestyle tricks. Kaya creative player din si Maya. So hats off for Maya for making it as a role model for our community.
And am I right? She was the champion just before COVID when
Yeah.
LaSalle first went. Yeah. So we've got two UAAP champions now coming from it's LaSalle and FEU from Tondo and Payatas. So that's really good. In the picture, Mai is fighting there against Regine. Regine Rebasora, she was a second top scorer, rookie of the year, best midfielder for this season. But what we're most proud of is, like Dennis is saying, she's that role model for the younger kids. So she's gone through our coaching courses. Before she went to FEU, she was a level 2, a fair play level 2 coach with us and coaching the kids. And what's nice about this is the kids from our communities, they see this and it's so tangible now to them. You can spend 10 years talking to these kids and saying, you know, if you work really hard, if you keep improving, I can really see that you can get to this level. You can achieve this, you can achieve that. Kids from these communities, from Payatas, from Tondo, they have struggled for so long and they've been told so many things and so many false promises, whether it's politicians or feeding programs coming in. Oh, we'll be back, and they never come back. Whatever it is there, so they don't believe what's being said until they see it, concrete proof right in front of them. So now they see Regine, they see Mai, and then suddenly they go to their training session and they go, hey coach, can I be like Mai? Hey coach, can I be like Regine? And now they can really believe it because they can see it right in front of them.
Thanks, guys. I think I just wanted to share that because I knew you'd be on the show, and you know, those players are really products of the futsal game. And I just hope that we'll be able to engage so many girls that you'll have some who will play football, but you'll have also those girls who would play for a national team in futsal. And I am very, 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 Roy knows this, very, very bullish on the fact that if we just focus our resources on women's futsal, we can be successful internationally.
For sure.
Or else Coach Vic wouldn't be wasting his time here. No, so I definitely, you know, but hats off to you guys, no. So coaches, I think that's proof that you can play the many forms at the same time, no.
Yeah.
So if you're watching this game and your coach says don't play futsal because it will ruin your skills, honestly, I think that's absolute rubbish, right? When a coach says that, and some coaches I really respect do really think that, or some coaches who think freestyle doesn't teach you anything. For me, that's also, you know, not true, because the more times you spend with the ball, the better player that you'll be, diba?
Yeah, it's true. A lot of those coaches are coming from quite old school. And to be honest, when I first came to the Philippines, I was very old school, kind of 11 aside is football. Nothing else is football. But when you look at the strategy, the tactics of 11 aside, it really is very, very different. And that's where they're worried about that gap. But wherever you go in the world, like back home in England, one of the most successful youth areas is a place called Wallsend Boys Club. It's basically a five-a-side indoor field. They produce Michael Carrick, Alan Shearer, Peter Beardsley, Fraser Forster, so many different places. Because what you see with something like that is they play in their communities every single day. They only go to the academies at 15, 16 years old when they're already elite level, and the communities create the talents. The clubs want to cherry pick the best talents and then transition them to the bigger game. And one thing with there is that with the bigger game, I understand Tondo are now in the final of the 7 second division. So you guys have got an upcoming cracking game there for I think your first one. Tell us about that, Coach Dennis. Because this is now your men's team.
Yeah. Our men's team are now playing the second division finals against Forza. So all these players are coming from Tondo. We don't have any foreigner players there. And all of them started in our youth program. So before we are the coach, now we are also the players that we coach there are now our teammates. So they all started sa street soccer, sa futsal with us. And we're happy to say na umabot kami sa final stage ng second division ng 7th FL. So we're excited, and we invited a lot of people, especially our players. So manonood some of our kids doon, and hopefully we can perform our best form dun sa finals na yun. And syempre to represent also who we are and to represent yung talent ng Tondo FC.
Well, good luck on that, and congratulations for making the finals. But what strikes me really with you, Dennis, is that you're very sure in your identity as a club and what you stand for, and I think that is something that many, even I would say some of the top professional clubs here have not sorted out yet. It's a basic thing in marketing. If you want to be a noticeable, recognizable product, what you stand for, what's your why, and I think you answer that very strongly. In terms of Tondo FC, what are your plans? No, moving forward, how do you want to develop the game through futsal and the many forms? Like what do you want to do this year and in the medium term, Dennis? Ano bang goals ng Tondo FC?
Yeah. We started it sa U14 and U16. So I wanted to do more futsal league dito sa Manila. Of course, involve all the districts of Manila. Para hindi lang yung Tondo FC yung nagpo-progress, but the whole Manila. Kasi I saw the engagement then. Some of the clubs then who are just like us, small clubs, are present here. We have the Baseco, Manileños United, this Santa Ana. These are the districts of Manila. And they're very silent when it comes to participating in other leagues. So I want to make a platform para all the community, all the districts in Manila are playing futsal. So hopefully maging home and away format siya and makuha namin yung LGU, yung support ng LGU with this kasi it's just our initiative pa lang. And also, well, we would like to continue yung mga barangay courts. So we have like three barangay courts na we're talking to do different training camps, training programs dito, and hopefully maging maging barangay league. So we have small leagues, barangay leagues. That's one of my plan, and then the Manila League, the Supremo Futsal League. So we wanted to, kaya siya pinangalan na Supremo, syempre it's Andres Bonifacio. So we wanted to, commemorate the history also, kasi we're creating history here in Tondo FC. And yun, gusto kong sumali pa with High Five Futsal League. Kaso nga lang, syempre, some of our players are graduating in our program, so they will be in senior high school na. So it's different to look for other players. They're still young. Some of our players dito, yung sumali sa High Five Futsal League is just 14, 15. And I wanted to give them more exposures in this high-level competition para when they play also in other school, maganda ipapakita nila. They'll be proud of what they can do. And lastly, I want to get engagement with the parents kasi some of the parents, they don't see the future in futsal or in football. So with this kind of programs, yung mga leagues, we can invite them to watch, celebrate with the goals of their daughters, with their kids, and family get bonded with each other during weekend, watch them play, celebrate the sport itself. So yun, those are my plans, and hopefully we get support from other brands and the community. That's important. That's the most important thing. We need the support of our community here.
Last question, no, before I go to you, Roy. How can you be supported in these plans? Like what are your needs, no, to be able to realize this vision of having more barangay leagues or having that district league? Because it's very community based, and I think that's the way to go. No, what support do you need for that?
Well, first of all, I think pinakamagandang magawa namin is makausap namin some of the politicians, of course, and especially the Manila Sports Councils, and try to ipaalam sa kanila yung mensahe of what we are doing and the future of futsal. That's big future for futsal when we initiate the league. Of course, hindi naman tayo pwede makapagpagawa ng mga futsal court, especially here in Manila. So we need to use the sports complex that the government owns. So yun yung pinaka-importante. When it comes to barangay league naman, the barangay communities, we need more of the barangay chairmans to support us and makita din nila yung it's not only basketball that will benefit in barangay courts, you know. Kailangan din mabigyan sila ng idea on how we can convert barangay courts dun sa maging futsal training camp din, training area din. So I think that's it. Siyempre, well, I think more materials. Kasi if we have like more training camps, 30 balls in one barangay is the most ideal equipment that we need.
Noted. So political will and equipment, basically.
Yeah.
Political will to give you access to the venues.
Mhm.
Roy, you're all good?
Yeah, just congratulations again, Coach Dennis. It's great to see them play. If there's a final question, I guess, how are you feeling about tomorrow? So it's a good challenging game to end the league portion of the season.
Yeah, last training, the girls are happy. They saw May kasi May was able to train with them and you know, pakitang gilas dun sa training namin. So they're excited. But May is not available tomorrow to play. So well, it's up to the younger girls how they will play tomorrow. Pero most important thing is they're all excited to play. And you know, pakita nila kay May na ganito na yung next future, ganito na yung next generation na susunod sa kanya. So they're able to play, you know, we're still practicing the culture of play of Tondo FC, the build up, you know, the rotation. And from the beginning, since they were young, ganito na talaga yung pinapractice nila sa amin. And hopefully bukas may pakita ulit nila yung culture of play. Again, well, these girls, they want to win, of course. All competitors, they want to win. But for me, the way na ipakita lang nila na they're all hearts out whenever they play, follow all the, yung ipakita nila yung culture of play ng Tondo FC, well, for me, it's good. Kasi these girls are still young. They're still learning our style of play. And this kind of competition, yun yung, it's a platform, it's a stage for them to learn this kind of culture of play. Kung ano yung nakagisna namin when we were young, sila na yung susunod sa amin na naglalaro ng style of play namin.
Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Good luck, coach. And I wish, you know, a lot of our leaders in Philippine football can see this, because I'm just looking at the comments here, you know, the best program of futsal of these coaches for the communities, the community program that has been there for more than a decade. So really, I think the thing that we're getting from this conversation is that community base is the way to go. No. So again, thanks guys for tuning in. We have lots of comments here. One question from Franklin Evan Francisco: who will earn the spot for the fourth rank? And what is your analysis? Well, I think Coach Vic already says he has a feeling Azuri is going to qualify and maybe go far. They're like a sleeping giant, but you never know. It's going to be tough for them. As lang po kailan ibabalik ng Alliance, no? So I will have to ask Alliance that, no? In process pa, no? And of course, we have a former national futsal team goalkeeper here, Ricardo Padilla. Shout outs, Coach Ricardo. Thanks for tuning in. Coach Ricardo is another one of those inspiring people. No? Came from very humble backgrounds and did well in futsal national team. So thank you, Coach Dennis. Is there anything you want to leave your viewers with, message or statement about what you're doing, Tondo FC, and your hopes for Philippine football and all its forms, futsal moving forward?
Yeah, quick message lang for all the viewers. Football will grow here in our country if everybody will do their effort, support those clubs, support those players locally, give them the much more priorities, and there are a lot of hidden talents here in the Philippines, especially in communities na katulad hirap sa buhay. So, ang football is tough. So, they all know how to play tough in life and in football. So, they will give all their best whenever they play this game. So, hopefully, we can get more support, more engagement with our communities, with the fans out there, and just believe in the process.
Trust the process, no?
Trust the process.
So maraming salamat, Coach Dennis, and good luck tomorrow. And I'd like to congratulate you for your performance in the High Five League. I think your goal is really not to win it, but to give the girls a good experience
Hmm.
and a platform for development. And I think you've ticked all those boxes. So congratulations, no, on that. Coach Roy,
Subscribe.
anything?
And lastly, can I invite all the viewers to subscribe to our YouTube channel?
Yeah, of course. What's your YouTube channel so we can put it on
Yeah, Tondo Football Club. That's our
Tondo
YouTube channel.
Football Club? Okay, guys. So if you like what you've heard, if you believe in their advocacy, check out the Tondo Football Club YouTube channel. There's a lot of freestyle, no futsal training. They basically give you a glimpse of their culture, which is really cool. So, Roy, last thing before we go on a commercial break and wrap this up.
Yeah, congratulations, Coach Dennis. We look forward to many more battles in the future together. Many of our players battling together in the UAAP and on the pitch with these ones. So congratulations for all of that. It's really seeing that progress come through that we can be really proud of. Well done.
Yeah, and I just like to say because I got to know see Angelica Dizon quite well over because she's one of the scholars in Inspire Raya, and she is a good one because she has the right values in place. Very humble girl, very good girl, and I think she like right now she's tied for top scorer, Roy, in the league with Agot Danton, no?
Yeah.
And I think for me, more than anything, more than their talent, it's the values and their upbringing. So good job, Coach Dennis, on that, no? Because I think really, if you get that right, then the players will really succeed.
Yeah.
So maraming salamat, Coach. Good luck tomorrow. And for all the viewers out there, we'll have a commercial break before we wrap up the show. Okay, so Roy, that's a wrap. I wish you the best of luck tomorrow, and I hope we don't have to see each other. So, anyways, I'll be looking forward to it. So, if you guys don't know, the last time Gawad Kalinga and Payatas had to match up, we had a friendly rager, which resulted in somebody doing a TikTok video, and we'll see if there's a rematch, for that.
There's a big chance of that, I think, given the matchups that are there. So that should be great fun. But yeah, watch out for that. It's the GK Uzuri game tomorrow. That will be the real big highlight, I think, of the day for everyone.
Okay, so good luck to you as well, Roy, in your game. Looking forward to all of them. So, guys, again, if you want to catch the games, it's showing live stream here on the Futsal Philippines, simulcast on Moran Foundation, and on Futsal Philippines YouTube and Facebook. You can catch the live streaming. I hope the signal will be good tomorrow. I understand the weather might be a bit problematic, but just try to tune in, guys, and catch really what I think there's a lot of talented girls out there and just willing to be tapped and developed, and they are developing in this league. So thank you. Good night, Roy. Always a pleasure as usual. And when we meet again in the Futsal Philippines show next Friday, we'll be talking about the matchups in the playoff round. Okay, so good
Absolute
night,
pleasure,
everybody.
Kevin. Good night, and I look forward to that next week.
Yeah. Okay. I hope I don't have to do a TikTok video for you. Okay. Good night, everybody. Take care. Stay dry. Stay safe. Bye bye.